Hari Om Tat Sat. Welcome to Swami Jyotirmayananda Society, our journey to self-realization. Please subscribe for the mystical meanings and to enjoy daily satsangs. We are currently exploring the mystery of the soul, Katha Upanishad. Commentaries by Swami Jyotirmayananda Maharaj, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. So today we are covering section chapter 2, section 3, mantra number 10. We are getting close to the conclusion of this profound and deep scripture, the conversation between 5-year-old Nachiketa, who is an advanced spiritual aspirant even at this young age, because he has done a lot of practice in his prior lives, and between Yama, the Lord of Death, upon the mystery of the soul, which we all would like to also benefit and know. So, mantra 10, when the senses are withdrawn along with the mind, and even the intellect is free from distractions, then that state is called the supreme goal by the yogis. That is the way we start detaching from the world and start attaching to our inner peace, inner bliss, and to God. Mantra number 11, studying of the senses and the mind is called yoga. The word yoga comes from the Sanskrit root meaning yuj. Yuj means to connect, unite. So then a yogi becomes very cautious, because the state of yoga, steadiness, comes and goes. So that is the state, and he needs to stabilize it. A yogi adopts the 8 limbs of yoga by Patanjali Maharaj. They are known as yamas, which are observances. Niyamas are restraints. Asanas are physical poses for meditation. Pranayama is the control of the vital forces, breath. Pratyahara is withdrawal of the senses. Dharana, concentration. Dhyana, meditation. And finally, samadhi, the superconscious state. The first 5 are called external means or bahiranga sadhana, external, outside, while the last 3 are called internal means or antaranga sadhana, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, because they are inwards. However, the practice of concentration, when the mind and senses are completely withdrawn, then the chitta or the intellect becomes still, like a lake without waves. So, the whole purpose of getting away from the world and the senses is to have a calm, serene lake like mind. Otherwise, the ripples and the waves continue to bother us. Then a yogi, having discovered himself existing without any association with the thought waves, abides in his essential nature, the self. That becomes easy and spontaneous. However, the practice of concentration, meditation, and samadhi must be carried on with increasing mental vigilance. The vision of the self that shines forth during samadhi is obstructed by the outgoing tendencies of the mind. So, this is where a lot of practice and discipline and going inwards is required. A yogi must continue to practice yoga until these outgoing impressions of the mind are overcome by the impressions of nirvikalpa samadhi, the highest form of superconsciousness. Mantra number 12, that self cannot be attained by the mind or by the eyes or the senses. It is realized by those who have faith in its existence. Foundational value, fundamental belief that you can do it with that strength. How can those who do not believe in the self attain it? When they don't even believe it, how can they attain it? Common sense. So, another most important feature of spiritual movement is Shraddha, faith. If a person is endowed with intense faith in the innermost self, in the scriptures, in the divine reality, and in the goal of life or liberation, he is bound to succeed in the practice of meditation and samadhi, as well as into the practice of the spiritual inquiry of who am I? Who am I? Am I this body? Am I this mind? Am I this intellect? Am I this ego? Asking all these questions and then introspecting upon them, you will realize you are none of these things. So, by negating these neti neti, not this, not this, you are eventually going to get to the ultimate, which is your Atman, consciousness, the self. So, faith is an expression of a purified intellect which begins to reflect the deeper truths of spiritual life and does not depend upon the functions of reason for its support. It becomes a spontaneous, natural, intuitive process. However, it does not contradict reason. Reason is fine, but the faith there is so strong that it connects you and it makes the process much faster and more sincere and direct. So, rather, it brings reason to the spiritual fulfillment. So, even reason benefits from faith. So, mantra 13, the self is to be realized by both methods, by ascertaining the existence of the self through yogic meditation and by inquiry into the nature of the self, Atma Vichar. Both are needed because this is how you accelerate the process. Having developed the conviction that the self is, a yogi automatically realizes the nature of truth. By the practice of concentration, meditation, and samadhi, and the three are combined, known as samyama. Otherwise, separately, dhyana, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, concentration, meditation, and then transcendental experience. A person develops increasing faith in the existence of the self by direct experience. That's how faith comes. He can feel the bliss, the peace, the joy, the um, genuine approach that he is actually seeing the results. He's benefiting. Faith intensifies the practice of meditation as well as spiritual inquiry. So once you are established in faith, you keep on asking yourself profound questions. You attend satsang, you talk to the wise, you read the holy scriptures, and you start understanding it at a deeper level than you ever did before. So that's what it is. According to Raja Yoga Sutras, others attain Nirodha Samadhi, which means the highest Samadhi, by developing Shraddha, which is faith, Virya, energy, Smriti is memory, Samadhi is lower samadhi and higher samadhi. Lower is and pragyana, intuitional vision arising in samadhi, and that is in Raj Yoga Samadhi Pad Sutra number 20. If you read it, it will explain some of those things. But Shraddha or faith enables a person to discover abundant resources of energy from within the self for controlling the body, mind, and senses, which most people find it very hard because the senses are like agitated monkeys. They want to run here, there, and it takes a time to control them. So, the spiritual energy is called virya. Virya. As an aspirant utilizes increasing spiritual energy, he begins to develop a mystic memory, the art of remembering that I am not this body, I am the self. He is able to retain the spiritual vision that arises in states of samadhi. So he has that. He comes out enriched from that state because he has directly benefited. His consciousness is expanded. All these tangible benefits are direct perception of the yogi. See, this enables him to ascend the higher steps of meditation and samadhi. Automatically, it comes from within. The intellect bathes in the waters of samadhi and emerges as prajna. It comes out as intuitive intellect. It is with the intuitive intellect that a yogi discovers the nature of the self and allows all the worldly impressions of his mind to be destroyed by the fire of knowledge. that knowledge of the self. This is the state of Nirodha Samadhi, described as Nirvikalpa Samadhi by Vedantins. This is the state of liberation which is characterized by cessation of all desires. So we are almost getting to the end of the scripture, and then we will start with another beautiful scripture, beautiful book by our worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayananda ji. And I hope all of you are also connecting deeply with these mystical insights and the way the soul advances towards its destination. For all serious aspirants, this is like nectar. So, my humble pranams to each of you who are sincerely walking on this journey, and I will see you in tomorrow's satsang. We'll start with mantra number 14. This is Swami Nikhilananda. Hari Om Tat Sat.